Ooh.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the July 23rd, 2026 Zoning Board meeting. Would everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so Mr. McDonough, the roll call, please.
Dean?
Present.
Dean Sagatti, present.
Present.
Attendance. Timothy Lamphere.
Present.
Todd Boyer.
Present.
Myself, Zachary McDonough, present. Brendan Sullivan.
Present.
Ben Gratter.
Present.
Zen Berger. I butcher this every time, I'm sorry.
Present.
I want to say it right, or at least try. Kristen Patnod.
She is attending remotely.
And Tristan Dion
He's
is
excused.
all done.
Okay, so we will be seating Mr. Sullivan and Mr. McDonough tonight. Typically, we go through this big, long list of how the night's going to go, but the chair doesn't feel as though it's necessary tonight, given the light load. So, Mr. Grader, please read into the first case.
So, first case is case 173-033, Robert B. Thompson, Emrea Stratakis, 53 Dairy Street. This is a deferral request. The applicant has requested a deferral of their hearing to our next regularly scheduled meeting in August. Those materials have been provided.
Okay, so any member of the board wish to make a motion to defer that case?
I'll make a motion to defer case number 173-033 until date in August.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Lamphere.
To
All
clarify-
those in favor signify by, what?
To clarify, should be date certain, so it'd be August 27th, 2026.
27. To clarify,
27th.
August 27th.
And seconded. Same way,
Seconder?
August 27th.
Is it August
Hopefully the
27th?
last time.
Yes.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Passes 6-0. 5-0. 5-0. All right. So moving on, Mr. Grader, could you read the next case?
So, case 179-028, Steve D. Grenier, 17 Gibson Road, requests a variance to install and locate a 16 by 30 shed 16 feet from the side yard setback where 30 feet is required. Variance from 334-27, Table of Minimum Dimensional Requirements.
All right. The applicant present?
Yes.
Come on up and plead your case.
Thank you. So just go through the 5 questions.
If you could go through the 5 criteria and just state why as though you feel you meet them.
Okay, thank you. As to the variance not being contrary to the public interest, it won't be contrary to the interest of the public as the proposed change remains consistent with the established character of the neighborhood. The scale of the structure is in keeping with structures of a similar kind in the neighborhood. There are a few other sheds, some actually quite larger than the one that we'd like to construct, the scale, and the patterns of the surrounding neighborhood. It doesn't introduce any activity or intensity that conflicts with the purpose of the zoning ordinance. It is just a shed that will house, our gardening tools, riding mower, a vehicle, and it doesn't conflict with the purpose of the zoning ordinance, which is to ensure orderly development, protect residential stability, and maintain safe and compatible land use. So it does not alter the essential character of the area. The appearance, the footprint, the function of the property will remain in harmony with nearby structures. There will be no adverse impacts to public health, to safety, or welfare. It does not increase traffic, noise, or congestion, or introduce any environmental risk. So public rights such as access and safety and the enjoyment of the neighborhood are preserved. As to why it observes the spirit of the ordinance, and again, some of this will be a bit repetitive, so I apologize. It remains fully aligned with the ordinance's underlying purpose, which is to ensure compatible development, protecting of the neighborhood character, safeguarding public health, safety, and welfare. It doesn't introduce scale or use or intensity that undermines those, and instead it allows a reasonable and appropriate use of the property while still operating within the broader framework of the ordinance. The character of the neighborhood will remain unchanged. It's consistent with surrounding properties in appearance and function and impact, and doesn't, again, increase traffic, noise, or congestion, or introduce environmental risk that those would threaten public rights or diminish community welfare. So by maintaining compatibility with the existing development patterns in the neighborhood, it respects the intent behind the zoning district and fulfills both the letter and the spirit of the ordinance. As to whether substantial justice will be done to the property owner by granting this variance request, it would provide substantial justice by allowing a reasonable use and beneficial use of our property that couldn't quite be achieved using a strict application of the current ordinance. Denying the variance would impose a disproportionate hardship on the owner, which I'll go to a little later, and the one that's not really offset by any corresponding benefit to the public or to neighboring properties. And because the variance maintains compatibility with the neighborhood's character and doesn't infringe upon public rights, the public suffers no harm if this were to be approved. In this balance, the benefit to the property owner is significant, while the impact on the community is neutral. On the question on whether the variance proposed will diminish the value of surrounding properties, it will not diminish the surrounding properties of the area because it remains fully compatible with the character, scale, and appearance of the neighborhood. I did a little research of similar structures that are on my street, our street, Gibson, and the street across from us, McCann. And just looking at the assessed values from the tax assessor's database, they're between $30,000 and $40,000 is what they're assessed at. So their properties have obviously increased in value as such. So the introduction of one on our property, I don't expect that would affect surrounding property values in any negative way. It doesn't introduce any physical change that would negatively affect the nearby homes or create conditions like noise or congestion or any kind of visual disruption that typically would contribute to reduced property values. I provided photos of a sample. This is we went to visit their showroom in North Andover, and that's the same size of shed that we would like to construct. It will look a little different, right? We're not going to put a cupola on top. They have a glass, mostly glass, roll-up door, whereas would be a solid, either wood or steel. So it won't look exactly like that, but that's the typical structure. And I should have taken extra photos. I have the booklet from the company that shows the various styles and the type of construction. So because this project doesn't impose burdens on nearby parcels or alter the neighborhood's appeal, there's no basis for a decline in market perception or resale value. And then the last question, the special conditions that exist on this property such that the literal enforcement of the ordinance would create unnecessary hardship. So the property was, the home was constructed in 1994. We were zoned G for 30 plus years while we were there. And the property is only 150 feet wide. I believe it's 200 is the minimum now, with a 15-foot side setback as opposed to 30 now with the recent rezoning to R1, I believe. And so you'll notice that looking at the document I provided that shows, the proposed plot plan, the driveway is far to the left side of the property, to the north side of the property. And so the natural place for a shed of this type that would house not just garden equipment, but a vehicle would be at the end of the driveway. And so it might have been done a little differently if the zoning was expected to be like it is today, back 30 plus years ago. In order to move that further into the property would require, one, taking down a very large mature oak, which provides all the shade we have in the backyard, and additional trees as well. It wouldn't really be able to like house a vehicle, because I would end up needing to put like a 50-foot extension to my driveway, which would, include excavation and paving. It'd be a substantial cost. There's also the end of the driveway is a logical place just because it's flat or near flat. The property, and it may not show this in the photos, but it slopes up quite a bit. And so if you were to push it further back to the center of the property and back, it would be in the center of a hill. So it'd be very hard to keep the water out of it. As it is, it's going to sit on a 6-inch slab that has to be 6 inches above grade in order to keep moisture and any water or snow melt runoff from it. So really placing it anywhere else, it wouldn't be feasible, or it would be very cost prohibitive. So, and the change is recent, right? The change of zoning is only recent. So the properties, if you look at all the properties in the neighborhood, they're all long and narrow. Driveways typically to one side or the other. And so a change like this, it doesn't leave much place to put a garage or shed or whatnot based on how the property is laid out right now. Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we send it out to the public, does any board member have any quick questions or anything? Seeing none. Oh, Mr. Saki?
Is this the phase where we can ask?
Yeah, we,
Let's, just a few questions.
would the applicant come back up? We do have a couple questions.
Have you had conversations with your neighbors or abutters about?
No, I have not. The only neighbor that would really see it is, and you'll see it on the photo I provided. If you look at the fence, that is their backyard fence, and that sits on the property line. I wasn't sure, but the engineer, Mike Granger, who did it, he said, yeah, the fence is the property line.
Okay.
And so, no, they're two women. They were there when I moved in. Everyone else on the street, I think, they're newer neighbors. I moved in '94. I think they moved in '89. And so, no, I haven't had a conversation. I think there's advantages to both of us to putting it there. See, our yards abut each other. And so I don't know if the person living in them is like a nephew. He's a young gentleman, maybe in his 30s, with a dog. And then we're our dogs. Of course, they bark at each other. Our little dog, maybe a little more than theirs. And so it would increase privacy, for one, because with the structure at the top of the driveway, if we're in our backyards, we won't see each other. So.
And is the use, are you looking at the use as let me not lead the witness here. Can you just explain the rationale putting it right at the end of the driveway? So
it's a long driveway, right? It's about 200 feet long.
Yep.
And so snow blowing, it takes a long time. I upgraded from a push-behind snow blower to a tractor with a snow blower on it. And at first, I was just looking for a place to place them because I have a 2-bay garage that's underneath the house. One bay is quite a bit smaller than the other. But it's consumed with gardening equipment, a riding mower, a garden tractor, the snow blower, the plow, all the various attachments. And the cars sit outside. And I said, well, if I have that, I'll be able to use. And of course, we have 3 vehicles. And then when I went to the showroom and I said, oh, you make some that are big enough that I could actually fit a vehicle as well as all my gardening tools and equipment. It takes quite a lot longer when there's a foot of snow on all the cars, to clean them all off, to move them one at a time, and then to clear this. And it'd be really nice to just keep the vehicles in their 3 garage bays and still be able to open the door, come out with the tractor, and just immediately start snow blowing. So it's for convenience, it's for regaining the use of our garage bays.
Did you explore alternative locations on the property?
Yeah, I looked at the places. If you were to look on the south side of the property, there's not much room there as well. Certainly not to construct anything of this size. Placing it there, of course, wouldn't make any sense. I wouldn't be driving through my backyard to put a car there. And if you look at the bottom photo in particular, you'll see that I have a buried gas tank, a propane tank there as well. My well cap is there. There are water lines that run underneath, so it's not like I can excavate it to pave anything. So really that was, given the slope of the property that's further back and the inaccessibility of the other side of the property, Yeah, and the driveway's not on that side. Even if it were, I have a septic tank, so I can't drive over that, on the south side of the property, so.
Thank you.
Any other board members at this time? Okay, seeing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody in the public wish to speak in favor of or in against? Please come forward. Seeing none in the audience, we will turn, Mr. Grader, do we have any email correspondence?
Yes, we received one letter from 13 Gibson Road, so a direct abutter. This is from the Lizotte family. We're in receipt of the abutter notification for case 179-028 regarding Steve Grenier, 17 Gibson Road, Hudson, New Hampshire. We have no objection to Mr. Grenier's request for a variance to install and locate a 16 by 30 shed with a 16-foot side yard setback where a 30-foot setback is required.
What was the address on that again?
That was from the Lizotte family at 13 Gibson Road.
And did you say that was an abutter, that's a direct?
I believe so. Although now that I think about it, 17.
Is that to the north or the south?
They are the direct abutter.
There.
On
They-
the south side of
Or
the.
the other side, not the, yep, I
Yes,
got it.
so
All right. At this time, we will close public input at 7:23. Is there any last comments that the applicant would like to make?
No, thank you.
All
Thank you for
right.
your time.
So it is before the board. Does any members have any questions, debates for each other? Yes, Mr. Lampier.
So I have a question, I guess, for Ben. So on two things I'm thinking of is if this was the zoning rules that just got put in effect this year, he would not even be here, for one.
correct.
Number two, the new standards for this size lot is a 200-foot width instead of the 150 that he's at now, correct?
Yes.
So that's a secondary thing that he's limited to, that we've changed on him.
Not only is the frontage insufficient, but the total square footage of the lot is also insufficient.
So it's a non-conforming lot, basically.
Correct.
So, okay, I guess that's all the questions I had. That makes sense to me now. That's why I wanted to confirm it.
Yes.
Thank you.
I will say for myself, I mean, I don't see any issue with this whatsoever. As Mr. Lampier just mentioned, when it was previously zoned, 15 feet would have been enough. He's at 16 feet. I can appreciate and understand the applicant's desire to have it right at the end of his driveway for convenience. The applicant has stated that there are several utilities in his backyard that are in his way for moving it. So I'm definitely going to be in favor of
Yeah.
allowing him. Anybody else have any other
Another-
comments? Yes, Mr. Vergaropoulos.
Thank you. No, the applicant pretty much said everything that I was thinking. I have no actual issues with this plan for all the reasons that were just listed before us. And I think it was funny that he brought it up was the privacy. When I saw the layout, that was the first thing I thought of. These lots being so small and close to the neighbors, it kind of creates that barrier where people would normally put up like a screening fence or something.
Absolutely.
So-
And
Mr. Sakety.
just some general thoughts that I had, looking at consistency, like prior cases, this case, future cases, I look at the zoning change, to me, is a little bit of a concern, right? Because the zoning was changed, there's an intent when changing the zoning to comply going forward, right? However, I do think, to Mr. Lampier's point, where you have a piece of property that was that would have to be 200 feet today, but it's only 100 feet, it's naturally, the property itself has become very constrained. And I look at the location, are there other places that it could be put on the property? The answer is kind of yes, but it seems like the best location is this location, right? And the most practical location. So, so that weighs into my, will weigh into my decision. And then obviously the what the concerns are of the neighbors who become part of that neighborhood, or the, how they factor into that is important to me as well. So, and it seems like there's no concerns.
Mr. Lampier.
So just a little bit about this area, this neighborhood. I don't know if you guys have been out there at all. there's a major power line that runs behind him. I grew up here as a kid back in the 80s, so I know what area you're dealing with. And at the end of this road is Smith Farm. I don't know if any of you on the board here have been to Smith Farm. It's a great place. It's not a busy road. We all had to walk from way down, like a mile and a half up to the school bus. That's the way it works. So it's not really a busy road. Where you got a 200-foot driveway. He's got plenty to plow. He's going to need a place to put this equipment. So better than it just sticking out in the yard and not looking organized. At least he's organizing it all together. Yep. So I think I'm in favor of this as well. Mr. Boyer.
Anybody else? Anybody care to make
have
a
a
motion? Mr. Lampier.
I'm going to make a motion to grant it.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Sarkady. Could you speak to your motion, Mr. Lampier?
Yes, I will. On number one, I believe there will not be a conflict with the neighborhood, as we had one of the neighbors as well write in saying that they had no problem. There's no safety concerns to the public. On number two, the proposed use will observe the spirit of the ordinance. It will because the zoning was changed and it's not going to threaten the public in any way, shape, or form due to the change from 200 feet, and he only has a 100-foot lot. Now they want 200-foot lots in frontage. Number three, substantial justice would be done for the property owner. Again, as we all were speaking about this, it will help the property owner by granting this variance and will not harm the public. The proposed use will not diminish the value of the surrounding properties. It will not do that as well, and my expertise that I could see. It seems like he's putting in a very nice shed. I don't know if he's doing the copper there on the top, but that looks pretty sweet. Number five, the applicant established the enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance. I believe that the zoning, if it didn't change, he wouldn't even have to be here. Needed the variance, and wouldn't even need a variance today. And the proposed use that he's trying to do due to the location where he can put it, it is a very reasonable one to where he's putting it. So I put a motion to grant.
Okay, Mr. Sarkady, would you speak to your second?
Yep, very similarly to Mr. Lampier. On the first criteria, I don't see this as contrary to the public interest. It'll be compatible with the character of the neighborhood in appearance and in form. Two is it does not alter the purpose of the ordinance. This property is, in fact, limited because of the narrowness of it being only 150 feet in width to create alternate locations. The substantial justice will, in fact, be done because this is the best location for this structure, the most practical location for the structure. So we're doing justice by approving this. Will it diminish property values of surrounding properties? I think actually it'll probably improve values. It looks like looking at the pictures, very helpful actually, including the photographs or the pro forma pictures. It gives us a nice visualization of what it could look like. It looks like it'll actually be additive to the surrounding properties and consistent with the surrounding properties. And then lastly, literal enforcement of the zoning criteria would in fact create unnecessary hardship for this applicant. So I will vote to approve.
Okay, so with that, Mr. McDonough, would you call the roll, please?
With you as acting as chair, do you want to go last?
Sure.
Mr. Lampier,
To grant.
Mr. Sarkady,
To grant.
myself, Zachary McDonough, I vote to grant, and I'll read through the criteria. For number one, the request does not harm the character or safety of the neighborhood. If anything, this could improve the safety as there won't be rogue power tools or yard equipment left out that someone might stumble upon. To number two, it will observe the spirit of the ordinance. As noted in discussion, the previous zoning that existed, this would have been compliant. With the new zoning, this is otherwise a non-conforming property, and as such, it does its best to maintain the spirit while situating the shed garage on the most reasonable spot. To number three, the owner would be given substantial justice as their property is non-conforming and it is at an irregular shape and size, and the driveway leaves little area for a shed otherwise to go to access. To number four, this will not diminish the value of the property. If anything, this provides screening for the neighbor as well as an aesthetically pleasing structure that fits the character of the neighborhood, and it also helps the owner maintain organization on the property rather than having yard implements scattered about. To number 5. This property faces a few unique scenarios that would create an unnecessary hardship for the owner due to its irregular shape and non-conforming status, plus the large setbacks on the side would make it very hard for the owner to build a shed in a suitable location. And the proposed use is a reasonable one. It meets the objective of the ordinance, it fits the neighborhood, and it helps the owner maintain organization and does not decrease property values. For those reasons, I vote to grant. And Mr. Sullivan.
I also vote to grant for number 1. Shed will not be in conflict with neighbors or safety concerns for the public. For number 2, does not alter the character, health, safety, or welfare for public rights. For number 3, yes, substantial justice for the owner by granting this. It's the most practical location for the shed. For number 4, will not diminish the value as seconded by the letter of support from the client, the applicant's direct abutter. For number 5, literal enforcement would cause unnecessary hardship for the applicant. This is a reasonable use. So for those reasons, I vote to grant.
And Mr. Boyer.
I also vote to grant for number 1, not contrary to public interest. One neighbor wrote in favor of the variance, so the neighborhood, obviously doesn't have a problem with it. Number 2, the spirit of the ordinance is still being observed because I believe 16 feet is a substantial setback that you are leaving, so I believe you are doing your best to observe the spirit of the ordinance. Number 3, substantial justice will be done. Anytime that we can allow a property owner to use their property in the way they feel necessary, I feel that is substantial justice. Number 4, I actually believe it will increase values simply because there's going to be a brand new shed on the property right next to, a neighbor. And number 5, literal enforcement of this would mean the applicant would have to cut down a tree, either move a well or move a propane tank, which is completely unreasonable. So for those reasons, I also vote to grant the waiver. So with that, your waiver is granted 5-0. However, I do want to make you aware that there is a 30-day grace period. If anybody feels as though they are aggrieved by the decision, they can appeal the decision. So although it is granted now, there's a 30-day window where we advise you to just kind of lay low for a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr.
In this case,
Knew it was here.
All right, so with that, we have our meeting minutes from the June 25th, 2026 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look that over? Does any board member have any concerns, questions, alterations?
Motion to grant them.
Seeing none, motion to grant by Mr. Lampier,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Sockety. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I will abstain, I was not here, so the minutes pass 4-0-1. Is there anything else on our agenda, Mr. Great Art?
That is it.
All right, so with that, do we have
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn by
second that.
Mr. Lampier, seconded by Mr. Sockety? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, and we are out at 7:36.
Boom.
Oh, we